Hey everybody, it is part B that we're recording instantly after part A. For sure, definitely.
No time shenanigans happening here.
No, it's not. This is immediately after the last thing happened. We instantly went and recorded part B of the Final Fantasy XIV podcast. That's me, hosted by me, Rose, and Spencer over here.
Hello.
Hey.
Again.
Yeah, this time I remembered to use your normal name, your human name, as I've said.
My human name?
Your human name, not your skeleton name. These are different names. But yeah, so this time now we pushed it off long enough. We're going to talk about Endwalker. This is funny, actually. We made jokes in the last episode about Forspoken. Forspoken got announced now. Since we last recorded the real Forspoken.
Definitely feeling some phantom pain of the big bullet that we all just dodged there, because I remember before Shadowbringers got announced that the reason people were thinking, oh, the next expansion is going to be called Forspoken is because some information came out from like a copyright company or institution in Japan where Square Enix had copywritten Shadowbringers. So people were like, that must be the next Final Fantasy XIV expansion. And I remember going, that name doesn't fit with like Heavensward and Stormblood because it's plural and it's a bit weird. It's got too many like syllables. And then it turned out that no, it was. And I was like, oh. So then Forspoken had the exact same thing happen at around the exact same time, and I thought, oh shit, it's got to be Forspoken. And no, it's not. It's a weird new thing that Square Enix is doing.
Project Athia or something? I don't know.
I heard some people saying it was just like Final Fantasy 15-ish.
Yeah, it looked like it. It's some lady. I'm interested because the gameplay looked fun, but the woman said, like, is that a goddamn dragon? And I was like, ugh. I don't know. When anyone talks like that, I'm out of it. I don't want, like, people reacting like that to fantastical things. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to hear things like, oh shit, another dragon. Oh well.
I would just be like, Jesus Christ, a dragon? I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Oh, cool, a dragon. I don't know. I just don't want Joss Whedon characters, and that's what it felt like. Yeah. But Final Fantasy XIV is what we're here to talk about. The real expansion, Endwalker, that is not Forspoken. So yeah, what do you want to start with in order of how it was delivered to us in the presentation, or
that? Okay, right off the bat, that presentation was a solid. Like overall, just like a solid 8 out of 10, I feel like.
You're more generous than me. I'd say a 7, I think. I think compared to the Shadowbringers ones, which were very concise, left you wanting more. Obviously, I want more out of this one, but I was very much, at a certain point, I was like, all right, wrap it up, Yoshi. Wrap it up. I've got it. I've had enough. But yeah, I'm interested to see...
was not as good as the Shadowbringers ones, mostly because they spent too long talking about things that didn't need to be talked about for that long. But
yeah,
God, did they start off strong with that fucking trailer, though?
Absolutely. I said beforehand, I don't know how they're going to beat Shadowbringers' main theme, right? Iconic main theme of Shadowbringers, one of the best songs for a video game ever written. And here's how they beat it. They don't beat it. They go for something completely different. And I think they nailed it really well, musically at least. We got the some Akira Yamaoka guitars, Silent Hill type stuff. Just open with the moon because nothing matters. Just go straight for the moon. And I'm interested to see where the second trailer goes for their hook, right? Because that's what they do now. They do in Stormblood, right? They do the first trailer, and then the second trailer has some like, whoa, bet you didn't see this coming type thing that they used to fill in the stuff.
Thinking about it, I remember way back when Heavensward was the only expansion, and I was still getting into the game, and I was watching the Heavensward trailer, and I was getting really excited because that trailer just kind of showcases the last patch of A Realm Reborn's post-launch content, and it leads into stuff in Heavensward, things like, oh, you're fighting dragons, and there's like airships, and there's like the Sea of Clouds and Ishgard, and their war with Dravania, and then like, oh, it's got Raubon in prison, and Lolorito's being a little smug bastard. But the only like there isn't really like a big like wow moment like that's unexpected in that trailer. You see a big huge swarm of dragons coming to attack Ishgard, which you never actually get to see in game, and you see like a whole bunch of like knights and dragoons battling the dragons, which again you also don't really get to see in the game. And then, like, you know, Mr. Final Fantasy turns into a Dragoon. He puts down his warrior axe and becomes a Dragoon for that expansion, which it was the coolest part for me in that trailer. But in Stormblood, the first trailer, like, they sectioned it out. Initially, the trailer was just the Warrior of Light as a monk now fighting Lys, who everybody thought was a dancer at the time because of her attire, battling it out on Rogger's Reach. And that was the whole trailer, was just that section of them battling in the Temple of the Fist, like the big Rogger statue.
Mm-hmm.
But then they revealed that, oh no, we're actually going to the Far East in Stormblood, and there's a weird, cool palace underwater, and oh shit, Samurai is a playable job. What? That's weird.
And Shadowbringers was the obvious, like, they were showing all these weird, like, you know, just scenes with the Scions doing some shit, and then, like, when they did out the last trailer, it was like, oh, wait, fucking Crystal Tower time.
With the Final Fantasy III Eternal Wind playing, and Dancer was revealed. That's the other thing, too, is they not only give, like, a big, like, reveal moment, they've also, since Stormblood, started to reveal that, like, what the new jobs are. Like, they use the trailer, they put the jobs in the trailer, and then cut them out so they can reveal them as part of, like, the next Fan Fest.
Yeah.
So, like, they did that with Samurai, and then they did it with Shadowbringers for both Gunbreaker and Dancer. And they've done it again with Endwalker with Sage, since in the trailer, Alphino is the new Sage job.
So what's going to happen is Xenos picks up the scythe, and that'll be the new cut. Though I don't know if they'll do that, because I was just thinking, like, how good the cinematography here, as always with all these cinematics they do for Final Fantasy XIV, really great stuff. You get, like, I think about, like, you know, Emmett Selk is narrating the entire trailer. That's great. That's fantastic stuff. I remember thinking right after that trailer, I was thinking, like, oh, how good would it be if Emmett Selk narrates all the enter zone bits that they do of every expansion, where you enter a new zone and a character says some shit.
Yeah, because you have Lord Edmund de Fortom do the ones for Heavensward, you have Lys do the ones for Stormblood, you have Ardbert do the ones for Shadowbringers, and then if Emmett Selk's the one who does it for Endwalker, that would be really cool, though. The only one who would be doing, well, I guess Ardbert was doing it post-mortem, but, like, Ardbert was in a special case.
Ardbert was a magic ghost, it's fine.
Yeah. Emmett Selk is, like, gone.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
I mean, I don't think anybody would complain.
No, yeah. I just like, who else would they do, right? I guess that could be part of the twist. They go, well, we're bringing back, I don't, Louis Soir. They brought him out of, I don't know.
Shit.
We already killed him again.
Yeah. I don't really know who it would be.
Oh, you know what? I just thought about this. Do you think they'll finally bring out the fucking Deus Ex Machina we've had forever? Just sitting there, that no one's ever done, which is that they can combine their grimoires to summon Phoenix, Alisei, and Alphinaud?
Maybe they've done it once before.
Yeah, they did it like
At the
instantly at the end of Binding Coil.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would simply because ever since she switched to Red Mage, she hasn't really had that on her person at all.
But who knows? New Red Mage job ability. You pull out a book for a little bit.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Would it? I don't. I feel like maybe it would be a little too. I do hope they do something with Red Mage. Not to get too off topic here, because Red Mage, I think Red Mage is not in like a bad place or anything, but it's in the most boring place right now, for sure.
I was looking at Red Mage abilities from Final Fantasy XI that they might be able to like bring over, and to be honest, most of them don't really like work. There's one that they have, I think it's called Composure, where it like lengthens your recast timer on all your spells, which is a bad thing. But what it does is it gives you it extends the duration of the buffs that you have. So you basically use Composure when you want to be a more melee fighter. So you buff yourself up under Composure, and then like those buffs last longer, but then you won't be able to reapply them as quickly. Doesn't really work for 14's combat system. The one I really liked, though, was Convert, where they just swap their HP and MP, which
We already got rid of Convert.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I liked the idea of them being able to turn their two-colored mana into MP, because Red Mage can have an MP problem, especially if they like die in combat.
Yeah.
So the ability to you can very easily generate black and white mana, and turning it into MP, or turning your MP into black and white mana would be neat. We could talk about speculation for new job stuff maybe in another episode, because there's so much shit in that trailer. I'm so glad that they animated the twins finally.
Yeah, finally.
We got like Thancred, Urianger, and Y'shtola last time.
And they got to be in the first one, too.
Yeah. But now we get we get the twins. Alize's doing her cool Red Mage shit.
Alphinaud has guns.
He has guns now. He's tired of playing nice.
He's reached peak radicalization now. He's realized it's okay to own 4 guns, I guess. That's what he's at.
He controls them with his super mega big brain.
Yeah. So I think like the existence of Sage, granted, we just got Dancer, and Dancer is Thavnair based, and we're just now getting Thavnair. I think the existence of Sage here implies they're probably going to do Charlea this time around as a zone we go to. I can't imagine they put it off any longer, right?
I think Charlean will be a... So here's the weird part. We don't know currently, right now, at the time of this recording, what the other job is outside of it is a melee DPS, and it's going to share the maiming gear with Dragoon. That's all we know. That's it. One of the things they said during this presentation is that they can't show us what the melee DPS is until they show us what the big city is, like the Ishgard, the Kugane, the Crystarium. Because every expansion has a big city and then a small city. The big city has a market board and is part of the... Like, you can have your retainers sell things in those places. And then the small city is like typically the end game area. Your Idleshire, your Ralger's Reach, your Yulmore. We have the small city already. It's Radzat-Han in Thavnair, which is really cool. Been wanting to go here for ages now.
Like 2.0 was when they started talking about that stuff. Like, and Yoshi P was joking for like ever. He was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put it in Stormblood," and they never did.
If they hadn't committed to going all the way to the far east for Stormblood, and then I think we might have gotten it in Stormblood because it would have been like a Girabania and then Rods at Han wouldn't have Nair,
Yeah.
because those are fairly close together, but that's not
With
what they would have.
with Final Fantasy, with what we know now about Final Fantasy 16, I almost wonder if the reason Stormblood has some issues, let's say, I know you like it a lot, but it has some developmental problems, I think, in terms of pacing and stuff like that. I almost wonder if that is a result of them starting development on FF16 and having to restructure, since that's the Heavensward team making that.
I could see that.
I almost wonder if them, like, they committed already to that, but then they're like, oh shit, we're making FF16 though, so we gotta... Because there's a lot of stuff in Stormblood that strikes me as, like, this is something they intended to do stuff with and then didn't. Like, the giant mountain in the Azim Steppe, for example.
Yep.
How much of that Azim Steppe, how much of the Adoma map is uncovered versus what we have gone to, for example. Stuff like that.
It was all I remember being particularly disappointed when we got to see the authored map for the first time and seeing like all the really cool zones, and then they Zelfa told the burn.
That was very disappointing to me, yeah, because I remember thinking like, oh, that'll be a cool zone. There's giant worms. We need more like deserts that aren't deserts. We need, that.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine as a dungeon in the scheme of things, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's just the big, well, not the big, but a big issue with the game is that all the expansion zones are much bigger compared to the Realm Reborn areas, even though like those Realm Reborn areas have really opened up with flying. You can go to some really fun places, and like, oh god, Upper Lenosha, being able to fly over the water past Wanderer's Palace.
Yeah.
That's so good. But I do think that we could stand to have like bigger area, because like it's really disappointing to have like the Eorzean continent and like all of the mountainous areas in the north are just you go there in like a dungeon. You go there for Zelfatol, and I don't know. I want more of the world maps to be like explorable, because it's really cool doing ocean fishing and going to the northern waters and being able to see Somal from like behind it, from where you normally see it. That was really cool. And I wish I could like have different viewpoints and big landmarks and stuff. But we were talking about...
No, you have me... You have my brain stuck now. I just wish we had those small zones back. I really do. I've been... So I just now, as of recording, like literally right before this, I got my girlfriend Robin to start playing again. We were right at the end cap of A Realm Reborn, and I was just like, man, these zones are so good. I really like them. Not that I don't like the newer zones, it's just like, there's just so much empty space. I'm a very anti-open world gamer, is the thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't need the areas to be like... Because a big thing that people like about World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 is that their worlds are seamlessly connected with one another. There are some loading zones, which is fine. I don't hate that. I have played both of those games, and I enjoyed my time with both of those games. And I know that when people come over to Final Fantasy XIV, the loading, like having like sectioned off maps, is a bit off-putting, especially if you're used to that open world design. But it just makes things a lot cleaner.
It does. So one of the things I really liked in Legion World of Warcraft expansion was they had this whole thing that was like you are helping free a city of vampire elves. And I just think like it's like, so on one hand, this huge city, it feels very large. It's larger than anything in Final Fantasy easily, and it's big. It has a lot of ground to cover, and it's like from like a scope perspective of aesthetics, that's gorgeous. But from a gameplay perspective, it's agonizing, right? Like it's just so tiring to run around the same streets over and over again just because. A lot of it with nothing going on, really. And that's something Final Fantasy has never really had an issue with. Like, I complain about these wide open spaces of nothing, but realistically, that's like 5 seconds I just have to cross, not like 2 minutes in WoW.
Mm-hmm. And they've gotten better with Shadowbringers with those big areas by actually deciding, you know what, no, each zone has to have at least 2 or, if not 3, ideally, teleport zones. So there's rarely ever a spot on a Shadowbringers map that takes more than a minute to get to.
Yeah.
Whereas in previous expansions, you have things like Kurthul's Western Highlands, which only has 1 teleport in the southeast, and Azizla, which has 1 teleport in the northwest, and Ruby Sea, which has 2 teleports, but they're almost next to each other, and one of them's underwater.
The choices. The choices.
Yeah.
The Raktikas kind of has that problem.
Raktikas. That's why despite everybody memeing up the theme song for that map and loving the shit out of it and all of the Great Serpent of Raka, it's my least favorite map in Shadowbringers because it's got
like
that
20 feet
teleport.
away from each other. Why would they do that? Remember when they did not add an Aetheryte to White Brim, right? They never did that in Korthus, Central Highlands. Okay. I just remember them being like, them saying like if they added one, it would blow up the game or something. And I'm just thinking like this whole time, like, if you added one to Kurthus Central Highlands, it would blow up the game, but you put 2 in Western Lenosha right next to each other. Like, what went wrong, guy? Like, what happened?
Also, remember, the first map to actually have 3 in one zone was the Azim Steppe when they added the Namazu, because they realized we want to use this space for this area, but we don't want to have players constantly teleporting to the Dawn Throne and flying west, so we'll just add one, and then we had one map with 3 of them. Meanwhile, Dravanian Hinterland still has none.
None. Yeah, and we don't even have Nice Adventurer to direct us there anymore. We have to go to the crystal itself.
And here's the thing. They can't even argue with it doesn't make any lore sense for there to be an Aetheryte here, because, hey, guess what they do in Stormblood? There's an Aetheryte in the House of the Fierce that's broken for plot reasons, and then it gets fixed the next time you go there, so you actually can use it.
The fucking Shadowbringers has one in the magical fake world. At the bottom of the ocean. There's 2 in the bottom of the...
Yep.
No excuses. I don't know what their memory stuff is like. That seems to be the thing they always reference. Who knows? MMOs are run on,
hopes and dreams.
Yeah, really.
Anyway,
flimsiest strings. Yeah,
this has been a very fun tangent, but
it has been a tangent, unfortunately. Yeah. So the trailer, Paladin's the poster boy. We got that.
That's cool.
They announced
That's
Sage.
fine. It's the moon expansion. That makes sense. Cecil Harvey goes to the moon as a paladin.
Yep. Fandaniel is there with some emo robes. Fan of Daniel, the Joker himself. He's there. Xenos is on a throne, and then Emmett's like, whoa, ring blades, dark and light, and then it cuts to the moon, and the moon goes, wah, wah, wah. And, it's good, is the thing.
Some real good shit.
But that's about it. It's like a 2-minute trailer.
One of the smaller details that I really like is Fandaniel and Xenos are in a thing that's very, like... It's not clear whether it's the big spooky tower that's in Garlemald. Like, on the map, when Emmett Silk first starts narrating, you can see Garlemald now has, like, a big red fucking spire thing, which might be where Xenos is. But it could just as easily be like they're on the Void Ark, or they're on like some big huge fuck off H.R. Geiger airship, because it's very H.R. Geiger in there and it rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, trailer music great. It's very funny how they're making good on the meme joke of, where do you think we're going to be going for 5.0? And then somebody said the moon, and Shifi goes, maybe 7.0.
Or 6.0, yeah. Yeah.
But it was always going to be here. Because especially after, like, how many fucking times have we seen an Ascian, namely
Go back
Linus,
to the moon, yeah.
on the fucking moon?
Yeah, we know there's giant... I mean, Zodiarc's just up there, right? Yeah, a little crystal just up there on the moon.
Presumably?
There's a big hole in the moon, and Zodiarc's inside of it, right? There's sigils on the moon, stuff like that.
I think the big thing, one of the big things of Endwalker is, so there's a section, I don't remember what part of the game this is in, but whenever we see Heidelin, she's always the big, huge, like, mother crystal looking thing, and she speaks to us, and it's like, okay, that's Heidelin. We can point to that and say that's Heidelin. That's Chappie voice, that's Heidelin.
Uh-huh.
But we only ever see, like, the dark version crystal, the Zodiarc one, in, like, one cutscene, and there's no voiceover. So, to me, that strikes me as more being possibly metaphorical, and then when we get to Zodiarc, he's not actually going to be in a crystal form, he's going to be, like, some fucking dude. Or he's going to take some other form, and that's going to be one of the big reveals is, oh shit, we thought this was just going to be some weird eldritch giant purple crystal.
But instead it's a tiny little rabbit.
It's a tiny little rabbit. Oh shit, he's the rabbit in the moon.
Exactly. They were hinting at, when they talked about the beast tribes a little later, they were saying they showed us one beast tribe. I guess we could sort of transition to some other stuff now.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. So let's just get that out of the way first. So the beast tribe they announced is the Arcasadora, and I'm probably butchering that. I don't know. Arcasadara. They're the elephants, the Matanga, from the Azim Steppe, but they have clothes, and it's disturbing, sort of. I don't like their pants. They also said that there was another beast tribe. Obviously, there's probably going to be a third one too. And they said, oh, it'll be something to do with the moon. Think about what would be on the moon. And I was like, well, this is a great time for them to... It's a Final Fantasy IV. Wait, he's from Final Fantasy III, isn't he? Damn it.
No,
Naming Way. He's from 4?
From 4.
Yeah, Naming Way's from 4. So there's a Naming Way minion. It says he's from the moon. This is the time where they can come and go, hey, look, we're putting all the Naming Ways on the moon, and they're cute.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. I do think that they will go with the formula that they've finally settled on with Shadowbringers, where one tribe is for battle, one tribe is for crafting, and one tribe is for gathering.
Yeah.
Because in the past it was 2 were for battle, and then the last one was for crafting until the Namazu came up, and then they were both crafting and gathering. Because I think that's just a bit more... I really liked it in Shadowbringers. It was a bit more thought out, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like there was something for everyone.
Yeah. But, because honestly, if I think about it, it was really weird that the Ananta were combat and the Kojin were combat, since both of them had to deal with, like, the Ananta were about, like, gold magic, basically.
They were basically crafting. Yeah.
And then the Kojin were all about, like, fancy rare artifacts, which both of them are both of them are better suited to combat compared to the Namazu, hands down. But I feel like the Kojin probably would have been better at gathering, since at least with the Ananta they were, like, on a battlefield and they were taking over a thing. But even then, they could have just been like, hey, come help us, like, make cool jewelry.
Help us build up this bridge and reinforce our stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, one of those tribes is definitely going to be the Naming Ways. They're going to be.
I'm curious. I'm curious if they skip out on them having primals this time. Because the Pixies had the primals, but the other 2 beast tribes didn't have one. in Shadowbringers.
The dwarves
And
and the Kakern, or the
yeah,
Katari, excuse me.
and I wonder if like they instead of like listen, I'm going to make a wild assumption here. This could be completely untrue, but if I were to expect Anima to be somewhere, it would be Thavnair, where the elephants are. Since the ocean, since that's how Final Fantasy X is.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Cause like the shot we have of Thavnair, because that's going to be one of the locations we can visit. One of the presumably 6 locations that we can visit. It did give me some Final Fantasy X vibes, with especially since the shot where it's like a dock, basically. I could see that.
I mean no ill will when I say this, but I think it's very funny to be like a person who has only played Final Fantasy X voice seeing the ocean for the first time, getting some real Final Fantasy X vibes from this. But no, yeah, definitely. That's that. Like, I think I could totally see them skipping out on giving the elephants a primal and just going, "Hey, Anima is the primal and it's in Thavnair," right? Like,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
then it's
it
like,
might
"Oh,
also
you have to
just
help
not.
them."
They might just not even have primals for them.
Yeah, they might just have given up on primal since we cured primal cancer.
We sure did. Now all I'm thinking is like going back and playing Final Fantasy 15 and going, wow, it's the Regalia from Final Fantasy 14.
Wow, why is Noctis wearing the clothes from Final Fantasy XIV? Do you ever think about how weird that quest is you do with Noctis, where he gradually just gives you his clothes after the end of each quest? Like, I think it's like really funny when you do the first quest and he's like, "All right, here's my glove." Like, it's not contextualized in the narrative, just the quest reward.
Yeah, it's because it's not like he is taking off his clothes and giving them to you, because they do that for the level 50 monk quest.
They do that.
Wittergeld gives his monk robe to you, and then he's like shirtless after he does it.
That was really funny. I forgot about that.
But like with Noctis, it's just like, yeah, here's my spare, and they somehow fit your character. All right, cool. But they don't even contextualize it at all.
Good thing I brought my glove that fits a giant rabbit woman. That's all I'm saying.
Let's see. I think Anima is just gonna be not tied to a beast tribe.
Yeah, I think maybe the other one will, or the other two, I guess. I mean, obviously the last one will not be a primal. It'll probably be.
Yeah, because the Katari didn't have a primal, and the dwarves didn't have a primal. Although can you imagine a dwarven primal? Oh, that'd be fucking sick. It's just a giant mech that's a fucking dwarf.
Alexander too.
Let's see. Another place that... So we know we're going to Thavnair, and we know that we're going to the moon. I'm going to assume that the moon has, like, at least 2 different, like, zones.
Yeah, probably. I bet it'll be an exterior and interior. Yeah.
But, yeah, if there's an exterior and interior, that'd be cool. We also know that we're going to Garlemald, finally. Because I remember personally speculating that we were going to Garlemald in... So in Stormblood, I figured like this is like 4.0, 4.1. My speculation was 5.0, we are going to Garlemald, and we're going to go there through Thavnair because they added both the Thavnarian consulate and the Garlean consulate in Kugane. And it seems like we would go there and then basically smuggle our way into Garlemald through Thavnair, since they have a trade agreement. And that's exactly what Estinian does, leading into Shadowbringers.
That stuff strikes me as like, I think I am now concretely confident in my theory that their development got messed up somewhere in Stormblood, because that stuff is like so... They were like talking that stuff up in pre-release stuff, like the consulates and stuff like that. I remember distinctly.
Yeah.
And then I feel like maybe just for Shadowbringers, Natsuko Ishikawa was just like, all right, hear me out. And they were like, damn, okay. Like, let's just do an isekai. And you know what? She was right to do so.
Yep.
She was right. But yeah, I really thought Garlemald was going to be 4.0, honestly, and then I thought it was going to be like 4.3. They would start getting into it, and then 5.0 would be Garlemald proper. Like we'd get some of the outlying provinces and stuff like that, and then gradually work
Especially
away.
considering that basically the 4.1 to 4.3 storyline was very Garlemald centric, because we were learning about the two different factions and in like Garlean politics, and we were learning about like, oh shit, there might be like an alliance with Garlemald that might be trying to be happening, but not really. And then like the 4.5 stuff was very like the 4.4 or 4.5 stuff was like we're warring with Garlemald actively. It really felt like, okay, we're gonna push in, and then it's like, nope, we got isekai. Well, time to do this then.
It's fine. It all worked out
And
well.
And then by the time we get back, the Emperor's been murdered by his own son. Because his son was like,
This is boring.
You wanted to use chemical warfare and commit war crimes and deprive me of the ability to kill innocent people? How dare you?
Yeah. What a freak that guy is. Still my only worry going forward into the new expansion, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
What?
Especially since he's not alone,
Oh yeah, he's got Fan Daniel with him.
Because he was basically alone for Stormblood, all things considered. Like, there was Fordola, and there was... I mean, if you can call Fordola a villain. And then Yotsuyu, but Yotsuyu was so disconnected, right? Like, nothing to do with him at all.
Yeah. She was mostly there to kind of showcase, like, she is very bad, but he is worse.
It was just to show how bad he is by showing what that type of man creates in the world.
Yeah. And there was also, like, the weird scientist dude that you kill at the second boss of Alamigo, who just
We'll
dies
always reference that, I think, in every podcast we do. We will always mention the scientist we just murder. The soul rebels.
I mean, everybody remembers that guy. His voice lines are more iconic than the fucking sloppy you get at the end of Heavensward.
Oh, I don't know if it's more iconic than sloppy.
They're probably about as iconic as each other.
Maybe. I don't know. Sloppy is like... That's... When that happened, I was like...
But listen, Malice Sass, whatever the fuck his last name is, fucking... He's got multiple ones. He doesn't just have the soul rebels. He also has my word, this data.
This data. Yeah, you're right. It's good.
He doesn't just have the one.
But you know who I remember more than that? Who's not even voiced? Right outside of his house? Little Ishgard soldier who says, Ishgard remembers Warrior of Light. And I think about that all the time.
I think like everybody thinks about that. That's
because it's good.
It's like you're like, oh.
You're like, video game. Woo!
I love internal consistency with storytelling.
You gotta love it. But yeah, speaking of Estinian's going to be a trust NPC. I know you mentioned Estinian a while ago now, but still, he's going to be a trust NPC. I imagine we'll get someone else too, probably. I don't know who else, but I imagine they'll fold some more into their retinue. They said they wanted to add a bunch of trust things and also expand they said mainly they wanted to expand what trusts can do. I assume to do overworld stuff, maybe deal with some hunts, something like that. I don't know. But they were saying like, hey, if we add it for hunts, that's bad because people actively do hunts. But also, like, there are a lot of zones where, like, those big fates never get done. And wouldn't it be nice? Because that's what FF11 eventually landed on, right? Like, they eventually were just like, there's some notorious monsters that are just real bastards in some high-end areas from old expansions that no one goes to anymore. Since that game has had a level cap of 99 for, like, over 10 years now.
Yeah. I imagine they add at least one other character who might be like this expansion's cool character.
You know who they should bring back?
Who?
Yugiri.
Yeah.
Just Yugiri. That's all I want. Oh, you know what they could do as a sicko moment in Endwalker is have Gosetsu show up at some point and do a big samurai move. I feel
Oh
like they could do that.
no. God, the last time we saw him, he shaved
He was
himself bald and
bald. It
was
looked
like,
horrible. Remember when
and
they said
he's
he was a
like,
human? Do you remember that? They said he's a here. Disturbing.
no, I thought he was a Rogadin.
No, they people said that he's obviously a Rogadin because look at him, and that it was cool that there were Rogadins that look different. And then Yoshi was like, no, he's a here. He's just a man.
What the fuck?
It's disturbing because he's using the Rogadin skeleton, obviously.
Yeah,
But no, he's just a man.
that's weird.
It's disturbing. Yeah.
But yeah, the last time we saw him, he had shaved himself bald and he was like off to Garlemald to kill everybody. Well, not everybody, but like, the cops. So, yeah, I imagine they had one other person, and then I hope they add another tank so that we don't just have to rely on Thancred for tanking.
It would be nice, but who do they even add? Me and my deepest desires. They Dark Knight Yzael. She's canon now.
God,
No.
I think we could see Arnvald and his like group,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
but I want Fordola since she has gladiator experience.
You think that they'll ever reference Verdola ever again after banishing her to Summoner and Cap Quest zone? Summoner? Summoner?
I mean, they made Astinian like a notable character. Like Astinian's like part of the going to be part of the main cast now. It's taken 3 expansions because he was introduced in Realm Reborn, and he was just like a character you met for like 5 quests in the Dragoon quest line. You met him at 30, 35, 40, 45, and then you battled him in 50. So yeah, 5 quests. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, we're going to Ishgard, and he's like one of 2 Ishgard NPCs that anybody knows.
So so you're thinking maybe they go, well, the moon's gonna blow up, might as well free our war criminal girl.
Maybe. I think it's more so to do with the fact that she has that resonant power that Xenos
Evil
also
Echo.
has.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that might have her.
I would like to see it.
I know.
Yeah, I'm doubtful. But speaking of the Dragoon quest, I think they've basically confirmed there's not going to be 80 level 90 quests for individual jobs now.
Yeah.
Since they didn't announce it here, and the last ones felt pretty final, which is disappointing to me. But at the very least, they are going to do role quests that are not, or that are more spaced out, right? Ranged is separated. Physical ranged is in its own category now.
Yeah.
So it's not this weird thing where you're a ninja teaching a guy how to be a archer, sort of.
I think because the role quests had like a really important, substantial thing with Shadowbringers because there was a whole like side story that you got to experience through them, and it gave you a deeper understanding of the history of the world that you were in, since you didn't have that from having been playing the game for hundreds of hours and learned about it. But this time around, like I'm fine with role quests coming back and not having job quests again, because like I love that warrior quest line, but I think it's like there's nowhere else to go. I don't really want to see like fucking Curious Gorge and Dorgono like, oh no, now they're weird parents because they have a baby. I don't want to see that. Because that's like the next logical thing.
But also, here I'm going to offer you a flip side. I want to fucking see Sidurgu do anything with Rael. I want to see them doing anything.
So, what I want out of these new role quests is I want the job quest or the job trainers to interact or be a part of it.
Team up.
So you have the tank people come together, you have the rangers come together, you have the casters come together, and there's like some problem, and they need you to solve it. The only issue is that writing that is a pain in the ass because you have to do every permutation of, okay, we're writing this healer quest line. We have to factor in the new healer, and we also have to factor in every combination of you're playing a scholar, but you haven't done white mage, but you have done astro, but you haven't done sage, so we have to, introduce all these characters or whatever. So I don't think that's what they're going to do. They're probably just going to have a whole new cast of characters, and you go to them for the role quest, and it's just a quest that they do. And maybe there's some permutations where if you're playing sage, then at one part the sage trainer comes into the quest line, or if you're playing Dark Knight, then Sittergu shows up or whatever.
Sure.
But we'll see.
I would want them, honestly, and I know they won't do this, but I was hope that maybe they would let Natsuko Ishikawa do it, since I mean, who knows if she would want to do it, but just fold them Sittergu into the main story, honestly, at this point. Like, since they did Estinian before, like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, fucking, for all we know, he might be the other he might be that second trust character that
I wish. There's no way, though. I would hope that they would do it just... If they weren't going to add Yugiri, I would hope they would do it just because there's no Aura representation. I would want an Aura and a Rogadin, realistically, but...
Yeah. They killed our Rogadin one.
They did.
And
this is what I'm saying. Listen, I am often rolling my eyes at, games where they just like Kingdom Hearts style nobody dies ever, type things. But also if Natsuko Ishikawa was just like, hey, I'm undoing the man killing off every woman I ever wrote, I don't think I would have too much of a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yutsuyu is a rabbit lady. Just saying, the moon, I'm just saying. But yeah, who knows? I think I'm more negative on the role quests because even though I really did like them for the reasons you said, and obviously for the payoff at the end of all of them, which I think is great stuff.
Walk with me.
Yeah, I just cannot see them pulling that off this time around, unless they do what you say. I think that would be interesting to see them all team up and stuff like that, but I bet they're just going to introduce new random NPCs and you're supposed to like them, and it'll work way less because this is a world that we already know and stuff like that. And I think even if it is good, I don't think it can be as good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll eat these words, but I don't think it can be as good as that sort of like having both these characters and mirroring the Warrior of Light of that world journey. I don't think there's any way to do it. Like I struggle. Like obviously I don't have their skill sets and know-how, but I just can't see them pulling that off. All right, what else do we got here? Speaking of pulling them off, no more belts.
Oh yeah, no more belts.
Good riddance.
Yeah, for real.
Did she get rid of that other ring too?
Or at least make it so that you can wear two of the same kind of ring, because that's kind of the issue with every tier of gear, is that you have to get the tome gear and the raid, or you have to get the tome ring and the raid ring, because you can't just wear two of the tome ring or two of the raid ring. And one of those rings is going to be very good, and the other one's going to be not as good, but you have to pick it anyway because of you can't wear the good ring twice. You can't wear two of the good ring.
Yeah. I mean, they've already retroactively changed that, right, for old expansion rings?
Maybe.
I'm fairly certain that's the case.
Changed is that you don't have to spend resources to augment them. They just come pre-augmented now when you go to buy them with Poetics.
Really? I thought... I don't know. I just bought two of the Skaven rings.
Oh, you mean like the ability to equip them?
Yeah, too. They're not.
Okay,
they're not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can equip like the old ones you can equip two of, I believe, but the
They
current
just
ones it's
changed
always
that
just two.
though, right? Like when they added the you don't have to upgrade them anymore, I think.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm
But no
fine with them
belts.
keeping two rings, but I'm glad that the belts are gone, especially since like nobody fucking likes getting belt drops in anything.
No cosmetic appearance, whereas rings at least do have that. You know what? I take it back. I don't want them to remove the rings because I need to wear the rings for my multiple wives.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't remove them. I change it.
You've got 10 fingers.
Yoshi, if anything, Yoshi P would want to add more rings, right? With how he's running all the time, how he
That
looks.
that's the joke people were making about like because there were some people who were like, why are they removing the belts and not like the duplicate rings? And then everybody was like, have you seen Yoshi P's hands? That man's not letting anybody remove any rings from anything.
You
He
know what?
liked it and
Rightfully
he put
so.
multiple rings on it.
Thank you.
If you laughed at that, no, you shouldn't have.
Okay, what else do we got here? Little things. How about little things? Gold Saucer is updating. Yoshi P is hinting at Blitzball, which is miserable, and I don't want to hear about it.
I'm ambivalent. I like the. So I like Final Fantasy X enough. It's not my
I'm
favorite.
fine with it.
It's not my favorite, but it's fine. My favorite thing about it is how, well, one, it was technically the first Final Fantasy game I played because I went over to a friend's house for his birthday,
Oh.
and he got the two games that I got to play while over there because they were like he got them new were Kingdom Hearts 1 and Final Fantasy X. And
Those are bangers.
they were pretty good, and that's like and like the opening to Final Fantasy X is you play as Titus in Dreams Anarchand, and then you get to play with Auron for a bit. And I was like, wow, Auron's cool. He's got a big sword and he's got like a cool like red samurai thing going on. I like that.
Did you know Auron is supposed to be like 33 years old? What a load of shit.
Holy shit.
You know what?
That's
Like
funny.
what a bunch of hoo ha. I know people joke about anime ages being like if you're over 22, you're ancient, decrepit. But holy shit, that man is 50. Come on, look at him.
Yeah, he is at least in his 40s.
Ugh.
But yeah, what was I saying?
Blitzball.
Blitzball. Oh yeah, Blitzball. It's fine. It's totally fine. Playing it in the game, it was a bit not what I expected. Because it's very actiony in the trailer, the opening trailer,
But then it's
and
math.
and then it's math, and then it's a turn-based game. And love it or hate it, it's definitely not what you would expect it to be going into it. I don't know what its incarnation would be like in 14. My only hope is that I do know on my server on Balmung there is a Blitzball League. I don't know how it works, but there are like teams, and they all like take their names like as like they're inspired by the nomenclature of like the Xanarkin Abes and shit. And I would hope that if they add Blitzball into Final Fantasy XIV, that we get like those team names, those good team names. Because then I don't know, we might have Blazeball in Final Fantasy XIV for people who want that. Solon, if you're listening.
That makes him come back, yeah.
There's a new Feast PvP thing that's not going to be the Feast.
Right, and they didn't say much about it. They just said that they were going to make it different than the Feast, have different things. So they wanted something more frenetic, I guess. They wanted to, I think I remember specifically the point that they were trying to make is healers dominate the PvP meta, right? Like, especially in the Feast, like you need to have that healer there. You need to have that healer be on it or you're fucked. And everything is centered around killing those healers and then burning down everyone else. And they're going to make it a mode where everyone has the same abilities. So I'm interested to see what that is. Like, not like, yeah, everyone just has the same amount of abilities and stuff like that. I can't say I know an MMO that has done that before. I guess they're going for like an Overwatch type things, for lack of a better comparison. Generic PvP, FPS type game, but for this.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it could work. I think like PvP in that game is fun, but it's definitely the class differences that make it less fun. So
My issue, since it's currently Moogle Tome season, aka Rival Wing season, my only issue with like healers being such a critical factor in PvP is the fact that they have, like, in Rival Wings, if I am playing any job, if I am playing a tank, a healer, or a DPS, and I find another healer in the field and I go, let's fight, I am not killing them. I need like 2.5 other people to kill them because they have so much burst healing and so much ability to just not take
and
damage.
They've only made it easier to not, or made it easier for them to survive. Like I remember back when I was doing the feast, for my trying to get big tier ranking stuff, I remember the thing was, you be Dark Knight, you run in, you do Blood Spill or Silence and stun them, and they're out of it. They can't heal for like 8 seconds or something like that. So that's when you get everyone to burst them down. That 8 seconds became 4 seconds. Like I think the patch right after I stopped, and I was just like, man, that's why? Like why would you make that change? It's very strange. And I imagine it has only gotten worse because the healers were never good in that stuff. You never want to deal with the healers. It's miserable. In any PvP setting, it's like that, but especially there.
Yeah. My other issue is my favorite job to play in PvP, because I tend to not really like PvP on tank all that much. I tend to play like Ninja and Red Mage. Ninja I really like because they have Assassinate, which scales with damage the less health your target has, and they also get Smite, which does the same thing. So you can like double dip into that. You get them low health, and then you burst them down with Assassinate Smite. Except they heal every time I press the button. Like, me pressing Assassinate is basically heal my target. And it would be so good if I had an ability that was like, this target receives 50% reduced healing for 5 seconds.
A League of Legends Grievous Wounds type debuff or something.
Something like that. Or like the ability to, because Ninja has a 1 second AoE silence, which is, handy for pesky mages. I love dueling black mages. It's the best thing. But it would be nice to have a debuff where you can put it on somebody and then they take no healing from outside sources. They can still use their potions to heal themselves. They can still use any self-healing abilities like Gunbreaker Aurora, but they can't get healing from another player.
Sure.
But this new PvP mode, honestly, the only thing that I want out of PvP is the ability to get feast rewards from previous
Not being
seasons
a Seiko. Oh, yeah, okay.
without having to actually play in that season. Because every other reward in this game you can get basically by waiting until the next expansion comes out and then unsyncing and doing it the easy way to get the old stuff. You want the old raid mounts or the raid gear for glamour purposes, you can go do that. You want like any of the Ishgard stuff, now that Ishgard Restoration is done, like you can still go and get those rewards. You want to get the old EX mounts, you can go and unsync them. Have a great time. Get you some tank achievement points. You want to get the Demi Ozma? Like, at least the Discord for Crystal, the Crystal Data Center, like, they're not running Baldesion Arsenal like that frequently because Delubrum Regine Savage is like the big hot thing right now. But from what I've read in there, Baldesion Arsenal is very easy to just pick up and learn. And it's literally just you join the Discord for your data center. You sign up. If you get in, cool. If not, you sign up for another one. And then you just listen to one person give instructions, and then you do the thing. If you can play the video game, you can do it. Because apparently in BA, the only difficult fight where you have to actually think is the Ozma fight, which is fine. But with PvP, it's not the same thing. There's really good PvP glamours. There's incredible mounts, and there's a bunch of other shit that you can't get unless you play the Feast. And I am fine with that for the titles and the trophy. I am less fine with it for the glamour and the mounts.
Yeah, like they went out of their way with the Ishgard ranking stuff to be like, it's just a title. It's just a title that you get, and that's it. But for PvP, for some reason, it has to be this.
I put this to the 08th Magitech team, one of the Discords that I'm in, and run content with. They're based in Brynhildr, because they're all rifle wing pilled right now. They're all just like having a blast. And I said, what if you could just buy the Demi Ozma mount for 999 Moogle tomes? And it wasn't a case of like, would you think this was good or bad? It was more a case of, for them at least, like, would you like grind out to get that? And some people said yes, they would, just because they're playing that much Rifle Wings, I guess. And somebody said like, well, wouldn't the people who like farm Baldician Arsenal like hate that? Like, you know, they spent all this hard time and effort to like get their Demi Ozma out, and then other people can just get it with Moogle tomes without doing the content. And from what I understand, the people who run BA all the time have run it so many times that they have run it more times than the game will recognize. Like, you know how the game tracks like, oh, you've cleared it 1 time, 5 times, 10 times. They're well past that because they just like running the content. And I'm pretty sure that most of them probably wouldn't care if other people could get Demi Ozma. The only thing they'd care about is, you know, oh, people aren't really going to run BA anymore because, you know, they don't have to. But the Moogle tomes are temporary, and also it would be 999. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't even care if once per character that you could just get a weapon from an ultimate fight as a glamour.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, like, for me, the things that should be sacrosanct are, like, the titles. Because I feel like there is value in you have to do this content to get this reward, and I think the title's fine, but things like minions being, like, tied to promotional merchandise items and mounts being tied to specific feast seasons, don't like it.
No, I absolutely agree, and my stance has always been like listen, like, yes, I hate the amount of time that I spent on you know, for example, the shitty relic recently, right? That bad relic. If all of a sudden next patch they came out and they said, all right, you know what, we're just letting someone just go up and get one and not have to do any of that, I'd say good. You know, I'd just say, good. I'm glad someone else can get it. That's how my stance on things have been recently.
Yeah.
With that sort of thing. I think for me, the thing that I get out of Final Fantasy XIV content that I wish that they were slightly better out of is, and this might sound stupid, but I think the content should be its own reward to an extent. Like, I have a lot of fun doing Extreme Primals back to back, right? That's just fun to me. I enjoy doing the fight. I enjoy, like, you know, when I do Warrior of Light and I can go, my soul knows no surrender, or whatever. I can just say that over and over again, infinitely, to my girlfriends while I do the fight on Discord. And, like, I just like doing that stuff, and that should be fun enough on its own, and I'm fine with getting rewarded for doing it over time and stuff like that. But I think especially as time goes on, it's just like, man, this is like a fun part of the game that's just locked away to 10 people. What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, especially like me, like right now I'm sitting on, I would love to spend my wolf collars. I'm one wolf collar short of getting a weapon, but also I'm just like, but like if I could just spend that on the cool armor that they just did instead, I'd rather do that, you know? But I didn't get top 100 on the data center, so I don't get it. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind those rewards being time locked as they are, because with the feast, like you can get the wolf collars, but you can't get like the current stuff with the wolf collars. You have to wait like a season to get them. That's fine. But like just like I said with everything else, like with the EX mounts and the raid gear, like if you want that stuff and you don't want to do that stuff on content because it's difficult and difficult content doesn't interest you, or you're unable to get a group to do it, or you're having really bad luck with like the party finder, that's fine. Just wait until the next expansion comes out and you can get that stuff easier, and there will be more groups and it'll be much more smooth to get that stuff. I don't want to say like everybody should have all the rewards right now immediately, because there's value in like working for something. But also I don't feel like there's any reward in this game that needs to be locked away from people forever. Because like with the ultimate fights, I think they're a good example of the fact that they don't let you unsync those fights because they want them to remain as challenging as they are. And even though like there's been some combat adjustments, and I know Gunbreaker's really fucking good in the Stormblood ones, it's still challenging content that you have to learn. You have to put in the time and effort to do those things. And I think like I don't think too many of the people who have like multiple legend titles would care if other people could get like one ultimate weapon for their character. You only get one without clearing an ultimate fight, but I don't think they would care because they just do that content anyway. So, but this is a big tangent from the new Feast PvP mode.
Yeah.
You want to talk about fucking the PlayStation 5?
Yeah. So at the end of the event, where in the past they have done like a big reveal or some twist, like they announced Blue Mage, for example, the CEO of Square Enix came out and he pointed his Blue Mage staff at Yoshi P and said, "You have to announce Blue Mage or I'll kill you." Instead of that, we just had him come out and he says, "Hey, aren't you forgetting something, Yoshi P?" And Yoshi P's like, "Oh, geez, you're right. The PlayStation 5 version of the game," which I guess is good for the 10 people who own a PS5 in the world. But it was very strange. They spent like 10 minutes just talking about how the PS5 version is going to come out in beta with 5.5 in April 14th, I believe. And it's just like, yeah, it looks better. It has really fast loading times since that's the PS5's thing. Which, I mean, looked pretty impressive, but also like, I don't know. It felt like really weird. It felt like they were giving a lot of pageantry to what was essentially something that could have been a news post that goes up on a website.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't anything exciting about this. There isn't any like new tech they're able to bust out because of the PS5. Like, it was literally just like, yeah, you load as fast as an SSD would on the PC. Like, it's very strange. I don't know. I don't know. It was really weird to end everything on, all things considered, because they had also just killed. Is there anything you want to talk about here before I go on to the other thing that was really weird?
No, we can go into the other thing. This is perfect.
Okay, so the other thing that they also wasted a lot of time on, like just before this, was they spent like what felt like hours talking about how they're going to do a number crunch for Final Fantasy XIV, basically shrinking how much stats everyone has, how much damage everyone does, because it's going to get ridiculous. Like, they were saying, like, you know, whatever, a boss you'll fight in 5.5 has like 80 billion HP or something like that, and that's just insane and stupid of a number, and it will make everything overflow.
Yeah, you explained it in like 20 seconds. They spent like 30 minutes at least. It was like 30 to 40 minutes talking about it. And what's weird is they started off with a really good, succinct explanation in the 5 minutes. Like, we have to shrink the numbers. It's getting too big for the computers. And so here's an estimation. And then Yoshi P said, like, a current, like, endgame geared Black Mage with, like, full 530 gear with the 535 weapon was doing about this much damage, and then would be doing this much damage after the crunch. And it was a significantly smaller number. Like,
Yeah, and
we're
you're
talking
like,
about
okay.
a 0 had been taken off the number. But the thing that they said, that all they had to say was, we're doing
this.
crunch. We have to do this. We don't really have a choice if we want the game to be stable. And it's not going to really affect anything, because it's not like they're only shrinking the numbers on the player character side. They're shrinking in them across the board. Like, the calculations, like the equations aren't changing. It's just the numbers themselves are getting smaller. So you're still going to be doing relatively the same percentages of damage for each of your attacks. It's just the actual number will be smaller, which is fine, because when you crit, it's still going to be a big fucking number. You're still going to see the 2 exclamation points if you get a critical direct hit. It will still feel good to do big damage in this game. But yeah, they spent so long on that.
It was insane. It was one of the most insane things I ever saw. Like, I can talk shit about Blizzard for a long time, but when Cataclysm came out, they did not spend 35 minutes in BlizzCon talking about the number crunch. They were just like, we're going to do a number crunch and we'll talk about it at a later date on the website. Like, just say that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
The technical stuff, that's not what this type of event is for, right? Like,
it's really not.
This is something that they've leaned into the live letters, and I can stomach it in the live letters at least, because it's very, like, they give you a clear point where they go, okay, you can stop watching now if you were only here for the game news. But right now we're going to do an interview with, like, our brand manager or something like that, right? Like, or the dude who does UI, or the dude who does this stuff. And, like, that stuff is interesting on its own, but, like, you know, not everyone wants to see that. And it's weird for them to, like, intersperse, like, ostensibly you don't know if there's going to be more hot announcements coming during this big event, just to talk about how they're making a number smaller.
Yeah. Like, because I think it was after the number crunch. It was either before or after that they mentioned that they weren't going to they were going to be removing belts, and they could have just easily segued into, part of this number crunch is we're removing the belts, and, like, the stats on those belts are going to be, like, baked into the other gear on your character. And then the slots for those belts, we didn't talk about this, but, like, they're being distributed between the weapons, which is, thank God, and the rings, which, you know, there's 2 of them, so it makes sense there. And then they even said, like, we're keeping 5 of the slots in reserve, you know, just so we don't overload the servers or whatever, which is fine. So we're technically going to have fewer inventory slot spaces, but it doesn't matter, because we're going to have more slots that we'll actually use, since we'll have, what is it, like 30-something jobs now, like counting, like, all of the crafters and gatherers, because we have 18 combat jobs including Blue Mage, and we've got 3 gatherers, so that's 21, and then we've got 8 crafters, so that's 29, and then we're going to get
2 more.
Sage is 30,
31.
and then the melee DPS is 31. So,
Yeah.
it's quite a lot.
It is a lot. I have to level all. Yeah, this was just a real downer part. This is just like a real, like, the vibes were low. I think both of us started tabbing away and just being like, what is going on? Is it still going? Like, they're
Yep.
still talking about this? Couldn't believe it.
I mean, like we've gone on some really long tangents in this episode, but none of them
None
have
of
been as
them.
long.
Not even close. It was insane. I couldn't believe like they had like Koji translating it all too, which is what made it even longer, right? Because he's translating everything Yoshi P saying. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking.
I think that they were afraid that people would riot because gamers have this unhealthy obsession with number going up and number being big.
Yeah.
And like I think everybody just needs to chill the fuck out. Like I am assuming like most people are just saying that as a joke, it's a goof, it's a bit. And that's fine. But there is a point when the bit becomes real. But that's the only thing. That's the only explanation I can give as to why they did that.
Yeah.
And it's because they were afraid people were gonna pitch a fit.
Right after that, they announced something everyone would like, though, which is the data center travel.
Oh yeah.
They said they finally figured out how to make it so that people can jump between data centers, which great. They had hinted at this earlier in the year, I think, or last year.
Yeah.
That they were not really hinting. They said they were just working on it, but they said they finally figured it out, and it'll just be a thing where you have to log out of your character all the way. It won't be like the world transfer stuff where you just go to the Aetheryte, since it's moving between servers. Basically, like, yeah, you just log out, you press a button on the title screen, and then it will move you over.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you... So I've only transferred my character on a server once before. My character was originally on Zalera, and I transferred him to Balmung. This was a long time ago. And I also transferred another character more recently, my dwarf, who was originally on the Light data center, and I transferred him to Crystal. Because I initially made that character to play with Nile, who was on Light, but then Niall realized that he tends to play during like US active hours, and so he just transferred to Crystal. So then I transferred my character over because I wanted that character to be my Brynhilde character. I also had to like attend a wedding on Brynhilde, so it was like killing two birds with one stone. But I feel like when I transferred my character from Zalera to Balmung, and this was like in the Heavensward days, like it took a couple days for that transfer to go through. But I don't remember because
That's because they're tying all of your like your whatever. They're tying they're moving your whole character stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like a person has to go and do that. They've created infrastructure to temporarily create a copy of your character to go over and then sync that. Is what I imagine has been the change.
Okay, because when I transferred my Light character to Crystal, it was same day. It was like no problems at all. Barely any time. But I feel like back in the Heavensward days, it was... So whenever they talked about data center travel, I was wondering if it would also have that same restriction of it would be like you're not able to play you have to like you put your character in a hyperbolic time chamber for like a couple days, and then you log in and oh shit, you're on a new data center. But if there's infrastructure there to make it more seamless, and all you have to do is log out.
Yeah. That's what they said. They said all you had to do was log out.
That's fine. I feel like the only restrictions they're going to have, it's going to obviously be more strict than the world visit system, because with the world visit system, the main things you can't do are you can't join any free companies, you can't access the free company menu because your free company isn't on a server you're visiting, obviously. You can buy things, but you can't sell them, and you can't access your retainers. I think you can still activate your Yeah, you can still look in your Chocobo Saddleback though. Those are the main things. But I feel like if you do a data center travel, there will be even more limitations. Oh, the other thing is you can't access your link shells. You have to use cross-world link shells. But if you data center travel, you probably won't even have cross-world link shells either. You might not even be able to use the fellowship system. So.
I mean, it's a fair trade-off, I think.
Yeah.
To not to do something you couldn't do at all before.
It'll be handy for people who started playing the game and didn't ask people what data center they were playing on and ended up making their character on a data center where none of their friends play.
Yeah, I'm excited because it means that I can finally, make things for our friend Zach and stuff like that. I'll be excited to be able to do stuff with them finally.
People will no longer feel compelled to either make an alt or pay to get a data center transfer.
Yeah. Good.
I can't wait for so many people to come over to Balmung and realize that it's not really
everything that people say it is.
Yeah. I mean, when I play on other servers, I see the same shit everywhere.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah.
The only difference with Balmung is that there's a bit more volume, especially in Old Da, but I see all kinds on all servers. So I'm a bit over the people going wow, Balmung's this really cool, unique, special thing, and it's not really.
Or alternatively, it's where all the freak sex stuff is quarantined.
Yeah.
That I see some people say.
Because the real ones know that's Mateus.
It sure is. Sure is.
Real Crystal players know that it's Mateus is where all the NSFW stuff is. Although, not to say that Balmung doesn't have that, but also, every server has that.
Yeah, it has it's just because it has a larger population that it's more obvious.
Yeah. But, anyway. Data center travel will be cool. I still will have dozens of alts. So, because I just like making characters in this game.
That's just how you are.
Just how I am. Still haven't decided who I want as the melee DPS alt. Obviously gonna be girl because my character will also play that, and I tend to want to have both the male and female animations and make a different glamour. But I'll have to see what it is. I might go with Outraw Girl, but we'll see. Scythes are cool, and it's probably definitely a scythe, right? We haven't even talked about melee DPS ideas.
Yeah, so they said the other one's a melee. We haven't even talked about Sage yet, really. We can talk about Sage right after this. How about that? So melee DPS, they said it's going to be melee DPS, as Skull said earlier. Spencer said it shares with Dragoon. And basically Yoshi P wore 2 skeleton shirts, okay? He wore 2 skeleton shirts, and people are theorizing Necromancer, which does use plate mail in the game that it is from. Is it Final Fantasy Tactics?
It's in 5, but it's in the GBA version of 5. It wasn't initially in the original release.
But yeah, people are speculating it'll be a scythe. We just had the big man, Ranjit, from Shadowbringers had a scythe, so it wouldn't be that crazy for them to have been you know what, let's do more scythes. Especially I would be fine with Necromancer, more of another pet class of sorts, because we only have one, really. You could say Scholar is a pet class, but that feels generous.
I mean, it's a pet class when it needs... Only when it's the bad version of the pet class where you press the button and the actions don't come out.
Yeah.
Which is still a problem.
But yeah, yeah, we don't know much. We'll know about that in May when they do the digital fan festival.
Oh, this is what I was gonna say. No,
Yeah,
I said this before. I like we won't. They said like we can't tell you what the melee DPS is until we show what the big city is. And it's like it's got me
yeah.
thinking what the fuck the big city is, because if the job is a scythe job, whether it's going to be necromancer or reaper or hunter or ravager or whatever fucking other like cool new unique name they're gonna give, like gunbreaker or whatever, um, then what fucking city are we going to that has like a scythe job? Like their
Well,
version of dragoons is scythe wielders.
um, maybe I'm not too far off with them bringing back dead characters and they just do the underworld because I mean Emmett Selk is all about the underworld. That's his whole thing.
I mean, it's in his name. Yeah.
Well, no, in the short story, the whole thing that he had when he was in Emerald times was he could see the underworld.
Oh yeah.
So, they could do something about that. Getting back
Good.
to that true magic, as they say.
Mm.
But yeah, I will be interested. You know what? Now that I say that, I bet it is something like that. It could just be something like that.
See, that's the weird part. This is in an interview that Yoshi P's done several interviews after the initial Endwalker announcement, and one of them was asking about like the logo for Endwalker, which is like this orb shape and a weird like triangle ship that is flying towards it, which I thought was going to be the Lunar Whale, but then they showcased that, oh hey, for the digital fan fest you could
Yeah.
pay $30 and get an 8-player Lunar Whale mount, which fucking rules.
It is. It is. I wish it was just in the game, but they gotta get theirs, I guess, continuously forever.
Yeah. Um, but one of the things Yoshi P, because how the logo comes to be in the trailer is you see the Warrior of Light, and then he's on the moon, and then it pans back, and then the moon like sort of does like an eclipse of like the planet behind it, and then it turns into the logo. But one of the things Yoshi P said was, do you like basically hinting like the circle in the logo might not necessarily be the moon, and
What a sicko.
there's a hole in the logo. Like the orb has like a hole in it, like going into the core. And so it seems like it would be like, oh, on the dark side of the moon there's like a big hole, or we're gonna create a big hole and we're gonna like do a Doom Eternal and just go to the core of the moon. But what if it's like we're going into the core of the planet, into the underworld?
I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll see. Sage, we were talking
Yes.
about Charlian earlier. So the showcase for the Sage class, once again they used a fucking cat boy.
Sick of it.
And here's the thing. I would be fine if this was the first cat boy that they were debuting with a job, but they did it for Gunbreaker and Shadowbringers, and they did it for Red Mage and fucking...
Listen, I can take one cat boy, but you bring me in another one?
Look, I'm just saying there are other races in this game that like other people play. We have never seen a Lalafell like showcase a new job.
I guess, have we had Rogadin?
No. Samurai, for people who might be curious, Samurai was male Hyur, and then Dancer was obviously Vieira because they revealed those. Well, they didn't reveal Vieira with Dancer, but they were obviously going to do that. They probably would have revealed Rothgar with Gunbreaker, since that's kind of like their associated job. But they hadn't revealed Rothgar when they revealed Gunbreaker, which was weird. Like that's the big thing. That's the big mark against Shadowbringers is Vieira Rothgar implementation suboptimal.
Yeah, I mean, I think a funny thing to reference is that the Sage concept art that they showed is a Vieira, and they don't get the hat
Yep.
that the Sages have, which is really funny.
It's
What's going on with them? What's going on? I'm
I have
playing
no
my
idea.
Viera alt right now, and it is shocking me how little the options are. The fact that, like, I still think I said this the first time I did it, but, like, when you go to the first thing where they're like, hey, you could do glamours. Here's, for example, you could wear this hat I give you. And you can't wear the fucking hat. It's just like...
It's really bad, especially considering that my Vera alt's a red mage, and what's the big red mage thing? Is they have the cool hats that I can't wear.
Yeah, one of the most iconic Viera jobs to me is Red Mage. The beautiful art of Fran is the Red Mage that exists out there in the world that you can find.
I mean, okay, when Viera were created in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, the jobs that they have access to that you can play in Final Fantasy XIV are Red Mage, White Mage, Sniper, if you want to count that as like the Bard equivalent, and then I think they get Summoner in Tactics Advance. Pretty sure. But all four of those, I don't think you can wear the headgear from, which is really weird because, like, I thought they were going to be adding more shit. But I guess
It
not.
sure doesn't seem that way, does it?
Like, what's really fucked up is, like, the Rothgar can wear the new, like, judge helmets, but the Viera can't.
What the
Yeah.
What? I didn't even know that. That's insane.
Yeah, it's fucked.
What are they doing?
Not their best. They're not doing their best.
I know development is stressful and everything. But I don't know, man.
Okay, anyway, Sage. So they showcased it with the Catboy, which I'm going to grumble about, but I've already done that. Looks really cool. They established that they're going to make Astro no longer this weird middle child between the two healer types, and they're just going to make it like equivalent to
White Mage. Yeah.
And then Sage is going to be the equivalent to Scholar, or the contemporary. So.
And I'm hoping this means, like, this has to be the time where they go and they reevaluate healer balance, like how they reevaluated tank balance in Shadowbringers, because healer's in a pretty bad spot this whole expansion.
Yep. You know what? I know I said earlier that we wouldn't talk about future job things, but real quick, Scholar, remove energy drain again. Take it out.
Yeah. I think we can start getting, like, once we do our next podcast, probably in May, after the fan festival, that's when we can do our big job hoo-ha. That'll be our part A and B. Oh.
Yeah. Part A, the cool stuff from 5.5, and Part B, we are going to talk about jobs and nothing else.
For 3 hours straight.
Because we have a billion IQ when it comes to job design in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Combined, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Gotta be humble.
Yeah, only 5 billion. We only have, whatever, I have 2, you have 3.
No, come on, it's 2.5.
Each, we have equivalent IQ. That's as believable as how people treat real IQ, so.
Yeah. IQ doesn't matter.
Yeah, but, yeah, so we got that. I guess that's Sage's gun, yeah?
Two things about Sage. One, they used Great Gooble Hard as the dungeon to showcase it in, which definitely makes it like a Charlian job. This is absolutely going to be a Charlian job.
And Alphinaud has it too, so you knew it was for nerds to begin with.
He has it because, like, his father's going to be a character that shows up, or his mom.
Right, we hate him.
Yeah. And then he's going to be like, Alphino, my boy, you need to become a sage. And he's like, alright, I'll become a sage, but also I'm going to shoot these guns if you don't go back to their fucking island. Get out of my face, father. I'm with the resistance now.
I think the thing about Alphinaud that I completely forgot until just talking about this now is that he hates his fucking dad.
Yeah.
I can respect it.
Yeah.
His dad's like a conservative freak, right?
I think so.
Like isolationist dude.
I mean, that's most of Charlian, which is kind of the problem. Also, they have, like, assassins. because that's how Thank was
Right.
trained. It's like
That's also they were coming after Leveva, right, from the Astrologian quest.
Yeah, because she was like defecting or whatever. She was like going against what the mandate had been to like not interfere. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, Charlian sounds like the fucking Vilheim Dragon School from fucking Dark Souls, where it's like, oh, we have like assassin mages come out to kill you if you don't do what we say, and what we say is like be conservative and also hoard all the magic. So
Also, just like leave pollution everywhere.
yeah,
Let goblins sort it out.
fucking we stabilize the Western Aetheryte so that everybody can teleport. Now we don't have to do anything ever, and we're purely blameless. Like it's like if Wilhelm Dragon School was also like in Silicon Valley, and they're on an island.
It may as well be, right? Yeah, I guess, but yeah, I know, I get what you mean.
But yeah, that hints to me that we might actually get like Charlian as a zone as well. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go fucking beat up some nerds and tell them to stop being isolationist because the world on fire, literally, and we need your help to kill this
I just imagine
pervert.
a Charlatan dude just like you get there and you're like, are you gonna help us? And they're like, no, we'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry, we already have a solution for the moon.
The second thing I wanted to bring up is the music that's playing during the Sage trailer. I want to point out to people that the Sage trailer is equivalent to the Gunbreaker trailer since it's the first job that they're showcasing. The trailer music for the Gunbreaker job was the Shadowbringers like battle theme, like when you're just in one of the Shadowbringers zones and you're battling like monsters, like not in a Fate. If that theme that they played for the Sage one is the Endwalker battle theme, oh god, it's such a cool tone. It's all jazzy. I love it.
That's pretty good.
But that might not. But like that's not 1-to-1. That might be a dungeon theme, which again is really good. But we'll see. That's all I have to say about Sage. Really, do you have anything? Any thoughts?
I'm glad to see more shields because I never really liked the Nocturnal sect. It never felt as good as a Galvanize.
Yeah, it never was as good, unfortunately.
Right, it never was as good.
Astro, but mathematically speaking, it was just the weaker stance, and I don't know why they did that. And what really sucked for it is literally all other kinds of shields stacked except for Galvanize and like the Nocturnal shield. If they made those shields stacked, like I don't think Noct Sect would have been overpowered. It would have just been as good as Astro. So, but who knows? We hopefully won't have this problem with Sage shields and Scholar shields. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more. I know some people complain about the mechanization, as it were, of like they want more pure fantasy stuff, but I like it. I like this a lot.
It's cool.
Yeah,
they're definitely not funnels though. They're new liths, not funnels.
They're new liths. I hope that new liths get cool designs and that they don't get fucked over like gunblades and dancer weapons.
Yeah. Just give us like the primal weapons. We don't need every dungeon weapon from level 50 to whatever. Just give us the primal ones and the raid ones.
Can you believe we're still sitting here with no Gunbreaker like Tsukiyomi weapon or anything?
No Gunbreaker Alexander weapon either.
What are they doing?
What are they doing? Speaking of raids, Pandemonium is going to be the new Savage raid series. Don't know anything about it, just La Habrea is there. Actually, holy shit, wait. So Pandemonium is in 2 different Final Fantasy games. I know it mostly from 2, where...
it's hell, right?
The Emperor basically becomes Satan. You kill the Emperor, and he becomes, like, Satan, like ruler of hell, and turns his previous like castle into Castle Pandemonium. And so the final dungeon is literally like you're going through this castle that's been warped by being in hell. So going back to that underworld stuff, you might be onto something there, Rose. The other place is in 9, which I haven't played.
So the one in 9 is basically just another world, another, like, I guess you would say kind of like how the source and the first, basically.
Okay.
That type of thing, another world. And it looks exactly like that one, though. The concept art they showed, at least, for one of the dungeons, it looks exactly like that, so.
Oh, fun.
We will see.
We don't know anything about Pandemonium. They just showed the fact that like they've got La Habrea's face there, and they use one half of his Asian red sigil thing for the M, the first M in Pandemonium, which is neat. I wonder how many, if there's going to be a Pegasus in this like Savage raid at some point, because La Habrea's big thing is good at making monsters. Because when you go to Academia Anadir, there's the last section is like the La Habrea section, and you see like bombs and a Pegasus and possessed armor. So we'll see. I think there's also some manticores in there as well. There's definitely Bandersnatches.
There's definitely Bandersnatches. All right, the Alliance raid we don't know anything about, but it will be original, right?
Did we talk about Anima?
We did. I said
10?
that it was going to be
Okay.
the elephant primal. Yeah, we talked
that. Yeah, I remember now.
So I guess there's 2 more things, really. That's it.
Yeah.
First of all, is the easy one to talk about. Ishgard housing is coming.
Yep.
We knew that, basically.
I'm surprised it's not going to be in 5.5, but I understand that the 0.5 patch is kind of a sensitive time because they always split it up into 2 different patches, basically, because it's the only patch where you don't get the whole chunk of story. You get some of the story, and then you get the rest of it later. And it would be a nightmare to do that while also adding a whole new, like, Ishgard, which is why like the Ishgard housing is coming in 6.1, not 6.0 or 5.5. So that all makes sense to me, because the 0.1 patch is the best time to add something big like a new housing ward, since there isn't really a whole lot of content in the 0.1 patch. It's like it's the new Alliance raid, a dungeon, should be 2 dungeons, but that's a conversation we've had many times on this podcast. And then the new EX, and that's basically it. Are you going to move your houses to Ishgard? I know you're...
Nope. I'm going to move my apartment. That is what I have always felt. If they ever added Ishgard housing, I would want an apartment, because I think thematically that makes sense for my character. You know, Ishgard's a special little place, but it's a place that I would not live in.
Yeah. Especially with the whole, like, they just killed an entire tribe of Aura.
Yeah, they sure did.
Kind of fucked up.
But now they revere me as a god. So, hopefully that changed racism.
Hopefully.
We can hope. Who knows with those elves?
I'm not going to change my places. My FC spent a lot of time and effort to get a large in the Mists. We initially wanted a Shirogane plot. Didn't get it. Literally, my FC leader got beat by a Lalafell by like 2 seconds, and then the Lalafell like gave him like the emote.
Oh my god, what a bastard.
But like the next time they added like the extra wards, I think it was wards like 16, 17, 18 or something, or 15 or whatever, 12, 13, or 13, 14, 15, we got one in the Mists, and like I technically could save up enough money and then transfer the house to Ishgard, but I don't care to. Because, I already have the large for my FC, which is basically just me and Solon at this point. So I'm totally fine to just stay there. And then for my private house, like, I like the goblet. I'm happy where I am.
Yeah,
I'm more content to, like, if I cared about Ishgard a lot, then yeah, sure, I'd want a house. But, like, I'm not as attached to Ishgard as many other people are, so I'm content to let the Ishgard lovers have that ward.
I'm just happy this means that we're getting another, like, 20 wards or whatever.
Yeah.
Good for warehousing.
Housing is still a nightmare situation for people who are trying to get into it, but...
here's something to make up for the fact that not everyone can get housing. We are getting a brand new feature, which is, I don't know the real name. I'm just calling it Stardew Valley every time. They're adding a farming island.
The Island Sanctuary.
Island Sanctuary, which
called?
Is like you can go, you have your own farm and you can let your minions and mounts run free in it. It sounds great. It sounds like the Moogle Garden from FF11.
Rose and I have been dancing around this particular item on our list here because it's the best thing out of the Endwalker.
Thing. There's nothing bad about it. There's no questions. It's going to be good, no matter what. Even if, like, the farming part's mediocre, it's just a little place you can go and your little buddies are there. Like, what?
And they specifically pointed out, like, we don't want you to stress about, like, doing, like, dailies here or, being efficient here. Like, it's just a place to hang out with your little guys. Your buds.
Good as hell. I've been waiting for this for years since they said back in 3.0, they were like, well, we want to add housing items that let you place minions as furniture. I was like, oh, I need that. And then when
Stormblood came out and they were like, we were kind of working on like a minion farm, and we were like, oh god, we need this. And then 6.0.
Now we get the whole bang.
We're getting it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. They didn't have much to say about it. Just, it'll have farming, stuff like that. Again, I assume something like the Moogle Garden in FF11 and the island stuff. I hope that they let you do the stuff that they let you do in the island stuff in FF11 because it's sort of ridiculous. Like, you could hire a baby Keycurn as a bodyguard to fight monsters who come to attack your crops and stuff. That was great. I'd love to see that.
I think this mode, this Island Sanctuary, might have potential in so many different avenues because it can effectively work like instanced housing without actually being instanced housing. It can work like it's a minion farm, but then they can add like a whole new minion like game mode that's not just like Lord of Verminion.
That's not Lords of Verminion. Yeah.
Like, I don't dislike Lords of Verminion. It's just I don't really care to play it. But then again, I don't really care to play like Air Force One either. Like, that's not an issue.
I don't care for the gold saucer.
Yeah, I really don't care for the gold saucer. I don't even have all the rewards yet. I just don't really care to do them. But like they could add like a little like a Pokemon mystery dungeon thing with your minions here, and they could go on little adventures and have a grand time.
Yeah, like Retainer Venture 2.0. Like the Meowster Hunters in Monster Hunter, where you send the cats out. Like that. Yeah.
Could be like that.
They can just transpose the Lords of Verminion stats onto them or something. Yeah.
I just want a bunch of animations where it's like I'm putting my buffalo calf on a little boat.
Yes, exactly.
Giving him a backpack and then like sailing him down the river and waving. Giving him a kiss.
Midgard Stormer at the front of the little boat every time, who's in charge of all of them. And then he has to manage all these little kids wandering around. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Very excited for that.
Literally, we're gonna get there. There's gonna be nothing on the island. I'm going to like summon 3 minions and be like, this is the best day of my life. This is paradise. This is all I wanted.
But yeah, that's about does it. Unless there's something else you want to cover here, I think we got everything.
Let's see. I think that's about it. Endwalker is the big thing is they have said going into it that unlike all of the other expansions where there's been the expansion story and then the post-expansion story where they kind of like wrap up any loose ends and then lead into the next expansion, Endwalker is going to be different in that 6.0 is going to be the complete storyline. After 6.0, like once you do the last quest of the MSQ, that entire storyline is done. The whole story arc of Hydaelyn and Zodiark will be complete. And then going into 6.1, it will be like that's going to be starting into like the new arc, the new chapter. I think it's going to be pretty good. Natsuko Ishikawa's writing it like we knew she was going to be, so I'm not really concerned with the quality of this one. It's just going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that does it.
All right. Well, yeah. So we'll be back again in May to talk about the fan festival and information therein. Yeah, that about does it. That's it. Yeah. Hopefully 5.5 is good. We have a live letter on April 2nd coming out. They just announced that recently. You're going to be able to figure out at home how far apart the two are, maybe. These part A and part B, based on all these facts I keep accidentally dropping in. But yeah, look forward to that, I guess. Thanks for listening, everyone. And thank you for joining me, Spencer, again, as always.
Always a pleasure. I love
great to bounce off you.
Love to talk for hours on end about one of my favorite video games.
We will never not do one of these. It is 4 hours total. It's impossible for us. We have to do it every time. Yeah, that was great. All right. Whew. Well, yeah, thanks, everyone. I hope you have a good day, night, week, month, year, so on and so forth. Time spent until Endwalker comes out this fall. Occupied as you can.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you next time.